Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another race of the Final Fantasy Spring 2020 tournament. We are in the first round of Swiss, so nobody has won, nobody has lost, and here we have Elastoid versus Lifereboot. I'm joined on comms by Darren. Darren, how you doing today?
I'm doing really well, Edge. I've been able to listen to some of these races while I was at work today. I've been able to watch a couple after I got home, and there's a ton of good races that have been going on today and all week, and it's exciting just to see how many races we've had this week and just keep moving forward. And I mean, 37 races a week is going to be ridiculous, and you're going to see a lot of great FFR over the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how things shake out. So on the party comp side, it looks like Lifereboot's going with a little bit more of an aggressive team, the Fighter Thief Red Mage Black Mage. And we've got Fighter Black Belt Red Mage Black Mage on Elastoid's side. Which one do you like here?
I love Fighter Thief. I love pretty much melee thief and then 2 mages. That's my preferred party, so I would go Fighter Thief. Although Fighter Black Belt gives you some options too, but I think Fighter Thief, because you've got a nice thief that, you know, even if you don't promote him, he can take a hit or two from a Kraken 2, and, you know, he can stand there with a Coral Sword and maybe get a little bit of damage, but if you can promote him, especially if he's got faster temper, he can fast himself and he can maybe do a little bit of damage in a round or two before he gets killed by a Topher boss if you don't really need him.
All right, so let's let our runners go. I'm in agreement with you on that. The thief, you could dan him early to run a 3-man. If the magic it turns out to be not so good, if you can't promote them, they can always hold a white shirt or a defense sword, or there's a lot of stuff that they can do. So, all right, let's see if give the signal to go ahead, and we're just waiting for IRC to count them down.
Yep, their countdown has just started, so here they should be off very shortly. Yeah, I don't know, Edge. What would your preferred party be for this spring tournament? You know, we've seen a lot of different stuff out there. I've seen a lot of Fighter Rainbow. I don't know, that's always a strong one. But do you have a preferred party that you would run?
I like Fighter Thief Red Mage Black Mage. I might also go double Fighter Red Mage Black Mage if I feel like Temple of Fiends is going to be a bit of a concern.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we've seen some pretty easy Temple of Fiends, and we've seen some pretty hard Temple of Fiends already this week. And you'll just see the whole gambit as we go throughout the next couple weeks, I'm sure. And there we go. Looks like our runners are off. They decided to split ways on the way into Canaria, and Lifereboot got trolled a little bit by one of the ladies in town, but that's pretty decent first level magic for the Black Magic shop.
Yeah, Fire 2 and Lit 2 will get you through a lot of the end game, and it's always nice to see Temper in an early spell slot, because the more charges you have of that, the better off you are because of the stacking effect. And it looks like Elastoid is saying, "The heck with Temple of Fiends! I'm gonna rush Kravoka and show these pirates who's boss."
It seems like that's been a pretty good play for the few people that have done it so far in this tournament, because you get that key item right away. You know, you've got an easy fight to get some levels and some money, and especially if you get a nice trip on the way out there, you can get, like, you just got 2 levels right in that one fight.
Yeah, also gets the crystal as well, so a quick trip to Matoya is not out of the question here.
Yeah, and then now you come back, and when you fight Garland, you've already got 10% extra experience from getting 2 key items already.
Oh, also nice to find is the chain armor early, so that's a pretty good piece of gear to throw on the Red Mage and the Knight. Those are some miserable treasure chests in Temple Fiends.
Yeah, I mean, I guess houses were like almost 5,000, so you save a little bit of money there, but still not what I would love to see. I just did see Cure 4 at level 2 though, so that's gonna go a long way.
Yeah, that's a big ticket item to have that land on the in a night learnable slot. So pretty good so far as the magic's turning out. And a ruby and a chime. So as soon as the canal shows up, there's 2 extra items just from that ruby.
Yeah, that could be really interesting. It's been amazing. I don't think I've seen as many fetch quests all the way around the inner sea in practice as I have in the tournament so far. There've been a lot of them where you get the crystal, you get the adamant and the TNT and the crown before you even get a canal, and then once you get out, you've already got the ruby as well. That just seems to have happened quite a bit this week.
Yeah, I'm sure it feels a little bit like a slog. Hey, there's an early Thor hammer, which is really nice to find too.
And
It may seem like a. Oh, go ahead.
Life Reboot will be happy once he gets the Matoyas as well and finds that early katana. Usually they're a pretty typical endgame sword, but it's always nice to get it early and not have to worry about anything on that thief.
Yeah, you get the promotion, and even the thief, even if he doesn't have a whole lot of levels in comparison to the fighter, can still do some serious chip damage with the crit rate on the katana.
And if you're really desperate for money, you know you've at least got something you can sell, especially if you decide to dan off that thief at some point and not rely on him.
So Elastoid getting the Thor hammer, which is pretty nice. We have yet to see a canal though, so we might have to be digging out Marsh early and getting the Thor hammer early. Pretty nice for that. All right, yeah, houses are $11 billion. And it looks like Elastoid is gearing up for a marsh dive, getting some weapons as well.
I almost hope that Elastoid heads up to Temple of Fiends so we can see just what the time difference is between having gone to Provoco or Temple of Fiends first. They've both been pretty consistent in terms of speed, and I mean they'll probably end up about the same spot with having done both. But it's just interesting to see the two approaches right away.
Yeah, we've got Zap and Lock at level 2, and Ruse is also pretty nice to have if you just want to protect the spellcaster.
Yeah, I love Ruse in a fighter learnable spot because if I don't find Defense Sword, at least I've got Ruse.
Yeah, one cast to Ruse, one cast to Invis too, and your enemy is already missing half his attack, so it's a real big swing. And even though we kind of had that split at the beginning, it's shaping up to be, having both players done with the exact same stuff at about the exact same time.
Life Reboot decided it wasn't worth a house there, with as expensive as they are. That's probably a good choice.
So yeah, going into Marsh Cave, and Marsh Cave can roll some pretty nasty things quite often. So I kind of feel like having the thief early is kind of an advantage for Life Reboot. Although we haven't seen what's in dwarves yet, could just make everything I said irrelevant.
Yeah, that's always one of the ones that I've learned to do, especially with these flags, is save at Canaria and go check dwarves, and then if there's nothing there, you can always reset back to Canaria, save yourself a little bit of time. but you can, if you find a canal there or you find the herb, then you aren't losing anything at all.
Yeah, they're pretty much high-fiving at this point, but Life Reboot is making the play to go straight to Elfland.
Yeah, and that, it's a real quick check to go to Dwarves, so you won't lose a lot unless if Canal is here. Looks like he's safe. He just, missed out on a little bit of money, but they should be pretty well set if he's anywhere near what Elastoid has.
That's interesting. Life Reboot may be reconsidering, or may just be, well, if he's taking fights, then he's definitely going to be saving the way there, so... A little bit of indecision is going to cost Life Reboot some time. And we got Nuke at level 3, free seed.
Wow, and a Cure 3 at level 3 as well, so that will go quite a ways. For healing, save quite a few healing potions in Topher.
Alright, there's Invis too, and that's learnable post-promotion for a Red Mage. We also have Quadex and Brack, so kind of an interesting array of spells. You got some insta-kills, you've got the big gun, and then you got a lot of support spells too. Now, Life Reboot heading back, and that money may actually help Life Reboot a lot more than Elastoid. It's not too bad skipping out on level 4, especially because you don't have the money for it. Wow, those are some cheap silver bracelets.
That's always nice to see early on as well.
Yeah, Elastoid also picking up the Iron Shield. It's a good move. The shield slot is very efficient as far as adding absorb to the fighter.
Welcome in Speed Gaming Portuguese. Welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer. We're just getting this race underway. Both runners are pretty well even at this point. Elastoid has a slight advantage. He's just gotten through town a little bit quicker, and they're both on their way to Marsh Cave to try and find their canal or their canoe in order to get out of the inner city area.
Yeah, about the only big difference is Elastoid found a katana and sold it. Life Reboot held onto it because he has a thief. So we'll see if that plays a little bit of a role as the game continues. Stun is also an interesting one to get. That inflicts paralysis on anything that has 300 HP or less. But if it's in the same slot as Quad X, there's really no reason to get it.
I never knew that it only worked on 300 or less HP, so that's good to learn. I always wondered why sometimes it worked great and sometimes it didn't.
Yeah, it's Hold is the one that is just a straight up, magic defense check. The other one is based on health. So, in a pinch, it's a poor man's Quad X, but if it's on the same level as Quad X, just give me the original. So we're going to take a peek at the top of Marsh here. And I don't mind this play either, because if you don't find anything good, you can just reset out.
I like top of Marsh check first, because even if like that 12,000 is the only chest you find, you can still reset out and get it on your way down, and you know exactly which room it's in if you know where your chests that are linked are.
Life Reboot not too far behind, so still anybody's race. And did Elastoid actually get that chest?
The top left one?
No, that was the big money chest, right?
Yep, that was 12,000. So you got a lot of money, over 20,000 in gold just out of the chest there, but nothing spectacular.
Yeah, definitely good to pick that up though, especially with level 5 magic being on the table as soon as you leave through the canal. Sometimes those can roll pretty expensive, and if you don't have to double dip mountain, it'll save you a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's very true. If that 8,000 wouldn't have been there, I would have reset out because the room a life reboots in and is about to get the big money chest. That one is actually the rooms which are straight down from the first level down in Marsh. And so you've got two chests that are pretty much in your way. It's a few steps out of the way, but you can save the whole walk back to get out and save.
And as things stand right now, we haven't seen anything too nasty, but the bottom of Marsh has kind of a different enemy set than the top of Marsh, so the best may yet be coming.
Yeah, and always the roughest part about Marsh is it might be just one enemy that has something nasty, but you get a lot of these packs like Red Bone, Bone, and Crawl. And if Crawls have something nasty, you don't know, and it looks like that one's unrunnable, so hopefully it's not too bad.
Yeah, good turn order is going to help out here.
And Fire 2 is pretty much, other than Fire 3, Fire 2 is the spell that I want in Marsh Cave.
Yeah, and I think the Black Mage on Elastoid side might be able to cast one nuke as well, and that'll be good for the tile in front of the wizard, or the vanilla wizard tile, excuse me. Because who knows what that's gonna be? That's just a shark.
The sharks with a poison touch, so that's not too bad unless they have something else on top of it.
Yeah, well, as long as it's not a laser beam, he's fine.
Wow, the incentivized canal.
So the shark just fell out of the canal. I see. And not a whole lot on this bottom floor, though, so it looks like a good move to keep the money. Although those houses that our runners keep finding are as good as gold this time around.
Yeah, that's for sure. With the 5,000 gold per house, it puts a premium on what you can get. I usually like to get a good 10 or 20 right away if they're not too expensive.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is when they're expensive, you waste a little time on menuing because you can't really do the buy 10 with super pricey houses. And kind of notable that Life Reboot is making up some good time on Elastoid here.
Yeah, it looks like he might not know where all the chests are in Marsh. He might lose a little bit of time there, but at least so far the enemies haven't been horrible, so hopefully it stays that way and he can keep chugging along and maybe make up a little bit of time, and not that he's even that far behind at all.
Got gargoyles with paralysis touch, which is no good, so he's gonna blast his way out of this, and then that's a good move. We've got scorpions with paralysis as well.
That is a really scary enemy to have paralysis, because scorpions can hit extremely hard for the levels you're at.
Yeah, and once you're paralyzed, you also lose your ability to evade hits. So, and there's a slight damage amplification effect too. So, yeah, it just goes from bad to worse.
Life Reboot did just find one of our linked chests, so if you're watching this back, Life Reboot, it's that first chest on the floor here, and then the right hand chest in the double chest room, and that bottom right chests are all linked together, so you just can get it in one location. A lot of people I personally like the double room because you're going in there anyways, and you can just walk between them, turn right and pick up the first one, turn left and pick up the last one, and walk back out of the room.
Bert, I think that is the case. Any of your evasion stacks just go down the toilet if you get stunned. Like they're still there, and if you remove the paralysis, it's back to normal. But yeah, I learned that one the hard way when Carrie threw a hold on somebody with 4 defense or 3 defense stacks, and then just punched him out in one shot.
I've never even thought of that before. That's really good to know. See, and that's part of why it's lovely to do commentary and to be able to watch so many races. You can learn so much about this game just in the last week with the number of races that have been going on in the commentary for it. You get so many different people with different experiences that you can learn from.
Yeah, I love the discussion of link chests as well. This is one of those things where you may think, oh, I'll just open the chest in the same order every time, and I don't have to really think about it. But when you go to floor and entrance shuffle, that actually becomes kind of important because you can use the link chest to sequence break. And I remember Cheesinator doing that to get a floater about 30 minutes earlier than everyone else did.
Yeah, oh, I believe it. Especially Volcano has like that top right on Carrie's floor that's linked. I don't know where else it's linked to, but I know you can get something out of there, especially on floor shuffle. Ooh, cheap pro rings today.
Yeah, real cheap pro rings, pretty expensive gold bracelets, and unfortunately, Life Reboot finds Fire Tool on the ghouls, and they rolled high enough to eat a Thor hammer, so it's gonna have to go dive and get that canal again, but it's not gonna take very long to collect the rest of the chests. There wasn't too much other that you would want as far as valuable items there.
Yeah, I think the only real item that I saw was a falchion and maybe a house, and at this point a falchion you'll be replacing it pretty soon, or you can just stop in Elfland at the weapon shop and there should be something better.
Yeah, lots of poison touch kicking around here. So Elastoid gets rolled by some shadows here, just trying to get away, but it's a 7-pack, and turn order is it's gonna turn order. But yeah, the ruby is primed for cashing in right now, so we'll see how this shakes out.
Yeah, 2 incentive items come off from the ruby with the chest here in Titan's Tunnel, and then over to Sarda as well.
Yeah, gosh, ghouls roll really high. Looks like about 150 HP. Life Reboot gets through that fight, though, so a little bit of a setback, but plenty of game to play.
Yeah, and really, they've been going at about the same pace, so there's a good chance that he can make up some time. It's pretty easy to get wiped by just about anything in this game if they roll something nasty. So you never know when your opponent's gonna find, something with stare or fire 3 or any nuke or whatever's out there.
Yeah, both runners are kind of out of camping gear here. No, just the houses left.
Elastoid is up to level 8 on his party already. I think if I were him, especially with that rod pickup, I would be going into Earth and at least testing the first floor to see what the trap tiles are there on my way back. And, if you can find a decent grind and you're around 8 or 9, you've got a couple nukes to get that black belt leveled up a bit, but you can get, if you find 3 eyes or something, you can get that black belt up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea to check the 5 chests in the top as well. I usually like to save that check for when I have warp or exit, or there's a pretty good run off power cycle at the start. But it all depends on what Elastoid values here. And the equipment, it's okay. It's not great. So maybe 5 chests from the top of Earth could make a difference.
Of course, as I say that, his black belt goes down, so now it's, I would still probably check it to see what's there, but I wouldn't be worried about grinding up levels anymore on that black belt.
Well, that feels bad. The only item in Elastoid's inventory is the house, so that is an expensive overnight stay.
Now, and you probably know more about Elastoid. He's been around for quite a while in the community, hasn't he? I know I've seen him quite a bit on some of the creativity stuff, as you can see with his custom sprites, but I think he's been racing for quite a while too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been around since the old Highlander tournament, which was an offshoot tournament a few years ago, or no, a couple of years ago. So yeah, he's been in the community for a while, just off and on. Whenever he feels like playing FFR instead of going for the Shadowrun world record, so he knows what he's doing.
That's one of the things I've really enjoyed. You see a lot of the older runners coming back, or maybe people who've been around for quite a while, and then you get people like lifereboot, who is in the Duckling Derby just this January. He put up some pretty good times in that derby. I think he had like a 4th place and a 5th place finish in a couple of the races, and so you get to see a lot of the newer runners who've been, trying to show off their stuff, and then the old guns are coming back and teaching some of us newbies about the game and all the things we really don't know about the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of little optimizations that you can do here and there, and that herb turns into the canoe, which is it's kind of the first crack in the world map. As soon as you find the floater, you can break it wide open, but you need that canoe first. We've got Life, Exit, and Fade in White Magic level 5. And we've got Ice 3 and Lock 2, so some pretty good stuff at level 5.
Is that Exit learnable on promotion for the Red Wizard? I'm pretty sure that Fade would be.
Oh gosh, I don't remember the promotion on White Magic.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm really bad at, is knowing which spells my Red Mage and Red Wizard can learn. I just always have to go there and check on it, but I know I'm pretty sure you can learn, it's either Life or Fade, which I would be pretty happy with either one of those. I think I'd rather have Life at this point between those two, because I don't have a Life spell yet.
Yeah, I think Life is definitely on the table, and you can never have enough life charges, so Elastoid's going to cruise over to Crescent Lake and see what's available there. There is one key item, and if it's the floater, we could have another jet seat on our hands. So we've got Avos in chat telling us that Life is Red Mage learnable, so it's a good pickup to get immediately then.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, there's the houses. Oh, that hurts. Oh, there's Warp at level 6, but it costs, yeah, wow, 30k. That is a lot of money.
Yeah, nothing like staring at that when you have 27,000 and deciding whether you want to go and try to find Peds or go to Volcano or what you want to do.
Oh no, there's Oxiel, and that leads to another incentive location down in the Sea Shrine.
Yeah, that makes life even tougher to decide to route, because now you've got a bunch of options on your table.
Yeah, I think if I was in Elastoid shoes, I would try to fundraise a little bit for that warp. Just it's so valuable, and Elastoid is not that far off. But failing that, checking the top of Volcano is not bad either.
Yeah, it looks like that might be where he's going. Lifereboot is going to go down and take a look and see what we have in Earth Cave.
And we got a couple loose items on the table, and just like you said, we're going to do a little bit of a check here and jackpot.
I think Lifereboot may have been working with Greggly Puff quite a bit. I saw 37 cabins in his inventory there.
It's always good to stock up on the camping gear. It looks like these guys are a little more stout than you would like, but a couple Fire 2s is doing some work here. And definitely the nukes will get the job done. So see how Lifereboot handles this, but this is gonna be a lot of levels very quickly. And oh, hey, we found iron gulls. What is this?
Yeah, I'll take that any day as long as they're not too nasty. And really, the Gurmedusa seem to just have stun touch, which is a little scary, but wow, iron gulls, that'll get you up pretty quick.
Yeah, wow, this is crazy. And if Lifereboot has a house, it's gonna go pretty far. But yeah, just 2 fights, level 11 already. Good stuff.
Looks like Elastoid might be heading up towards Ice Cave.
That is something that I would definitely like to defer until getting warp, but you get your first warp charge at level 16, so maybe that's just too far down the road for Elastoid, and he just says, you know what, I'll take care of that dungeon. But with a couple of nukes and the spells that you have in tow, I think you can get level 16 just by clearing out Volcano and then coming back to Ice, but we'll see.
And that black belt is still down, so he might be deciding to go with 3-man, try and spread that experience out a little bit more and, get some more levels on the fighter and the mages just to get to those charges a little bit quicker.
Yeah, that would make a big difference for sure. Gonna have, alright, the nuke charge is saved. Just 2 lit 2s come out. So what have we got over here in this top chest? 2204 and no check of the trap tile. So 4 more chests on the top floor here. We'll see what Lifereboot finds. And Elastoid just plunging headlong into ice. And there's, like ghosts, there's 1 of each.
A lot of money has been out in chests so far, which kind of nice to see, especially since we know exactly just how expensive spells will be once you get to Crescent Lake, but still it'd be nice to see a sword or some sort of armor or something else in there that'll help you a little bit more.
Oh boy, this is bad news. The images just uncorked damage poison, so this may not be so good for Elastoid, and it's gonna make Earth a royal pain as well.
There's a free gold bracelet that's worth about 50,000 gold right there.
Yeah, that's definitely nice to find, and I would be kind of tempted to throw that on the knight, but Lifereboot is going to move the silver bracelet up there instead, which is a good move. Just as good as the chain armor, but with way less of an evasion penalty. Are we doing this? We checking floor 2?
Might be. Maybe he figures he's got nuke. He can take out a vampire and a lich if you got nuke.
He's not doing so hot in the spell charges department, though, is the only thing. I didn't see a house in the inventory, unless he just picked one up. Alright, Elastoid making good progress. Finally on the first floor you can get to with treasure chests. So let's see, 1458, 1031, and a soft potion. Not what you want to see on Life Reboot side. Not what you want to see on Elastoid side either. Especially when it comes to 4 images. Ugh. Alright, so no life. Just a couple of mages here, and yeah, this is the danger of trying to do a low-level ice cave dive. Any of those elemental AoEs will just ruin your day.
Wyverns and worms in Earth Cave too. Those are 3 pretty decent tiles for low levels to get a couple levels on.
Yeah, we got wings and hot wings, so not too bad. Especially when you've got Nuke in tow. Just take a couple of those to go.
That is a good question, Avos Ruin. I don't know if Life Reboot would know about whether Copper Gauntlet and Pro Ring take up the same slot. Also, one thing to note is that with Thieves, if you run them in the first slot, you get a slightly better chance of avoiding ambushes and getting a first strike. It's like, I think it's 2 to 2.5% is when they ran the numbers of, a better ambush chance. So it's a little bit scarier for your thief, but anytime you can avoid even one ambush in the dungeon, it can save your tail.
Yeah, and right now, Elastoid is just trying to get through these Gurpedes, but these guys are huge. Manages to make it, throws a couple of nukes out there, but what are you gonna do now? Got one man, no ribbon. This is treacherous territory here. And speaking of ambush.
Yeah, I mean, and at least the further he gets, the more chests he knows about. So he knows that he doesn't have to go to that far left room, because I don't think there was anything great there, but it's still, he's gonna go right back in and see if he can make it through.
Oh gosh, yeah, Life Reboot runs smack into those images as well. So this is not a good floor to be on, and also hasn't turned the herb in yet. So just knocking out dungeons, whenever they're convenient. I can understand wanting to do that, but Earth is just as bad as Marsh Cave when it comes to how many enemy types are rolling around in there. So
yeah, especially if you're full clearing, because it's quite a bit further to go and full clear the entire dungeon. I mean, maybe he's trying to get to Vampire and then might walk back out, but I don't know, it's probably almost quicker to try and go through Lich, and at least now you know what chests down here you want to take and which ones you can skip.
Yeah, and I think if Life Reboot can make it to Lich with a mage intact, should be all right. But it's gonna be a little dicey.
It's definitely a good thing to have gotten the Thor's Hammer early, because that's done quite a bit of work for him. He might want to move it to his mage, because it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of spell charges other than the zap.
Oh, hits the zap on the. And there's a pro ring as well, so things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, Avos Ruin, I think you're right. He may not be thinking of Pro Ring and Copper Gauntlet being in the same slot, or at least that I would definitely much rather have a pro ring over a copper gauntlet any day.
Yeah, Pro Ring is the best defensive gear that you can get in that slot, and unless your hands or your arm slot is casting Saber when you use it, probably a good idea to go with the best defense.
Wow, and he finds another pro ring. He's got, I think, 5 pro rings on his party now.
Yeah, he's pretty well geared up. So yeah, and this is gets the first turn run against a real nasty group. So hopefully no more images here. But we've got bluties that are just they're going ham here. Which tile is this? Because they've got petrification poison. So it's poison everything. And they've got they've got so much HP. Yeah, these ice cave dives are giving lifereboot a chance to kind of catch up progression wise, but also maybe take a little bit of a lead too, given that you can knock a fiend out and check a bunch of chests too.
I know a lot of people like the rule of 3 for diving a dungeon, but I think after seeing that, I might just go away from Ice Cave and, lick my wounds for a while and just hope to find something I can do a little bit easier.
Holy cow, these oozes are terrible, and lifereboot's somehow managing to survive this. I think that Fire 3 puts the nail in the coffin, unfortunately.
Selenius, we don't know if it's required yet. No one's gotten to... I don't think Elastoid has gotten to that chest yet. At least I did not see it, but it is incentivized, so it could be required for this seed.
Wow, lifereboot takes a wipe and is just going back in, and I think if lifereboot had just saved, ran back to Melmond, stayed in the inn and come back, that might have been a finishable dive. So yeah, another question in chat. Yeah, ice is incentivized, so. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and it is. There's 3 items that aren't, well, like there's the Thor's hammer, there's the opal bracelet, and the power gauntlet, which are all nice to have, but you don't need them to finish the game. So any of the incentivized chests aren't necessary to beat the game as long as you can find the items you need. So it's you can always make a gamble that you don't even have to go to Ice Cave, which would be really disappointing for Elastoid at this point.
So yeah, Elastoid into the meat grinder, lifereboot also into the meat grinder, and this is just, yeah, I don't know. Like lifereboot is probably more likely to finish their dive than Elastoid, but you just get a fiend clear out of it, unless there's something good in those bottom 3 chests that weren't checked.
Yeah, and especially with that herb, I think on lifereboot's side, I would have, after wiping once, maybe if I thought I could make it through, I'd go back in, but go turn in that herb and see what you get, because canoe would open up so many things for him.
Oh gosh, there goes the poison again, but people managed to stay alive this time around. Should have brought a thief.
Always bring a thief.
It's another thing to kind of even the odds a little bit with dungeons, especially when they're this nasty. Anything that has like a 80% run success rate that's also a pretty good command to put in the queue. Oh, the images just decide to swing, and the Frosties lead out with Thunder, and the Elastoid has had enough. He's going somewhere else. just can't do it without a couple ribbons here, I think.
Ooh, there's a zap on the vampire. That feels pretty good, and he was able to save that nuke for later on down the line.
Yeah, also picked up the last pro ring that he needs, so life reboot is just gonna keep going. And strangely enough, the copper gauntlet is nowhere to be found, so life reboot actually benefiting a little bit from taking that away. So one more set of chests to check, and this will be a big swing if there's anything in here. Oh god, this is a trap tile that he just ran onto. He's got 2 soft potions.
That room is one of the trickiest for trap tiles because you get the trap tile on the right side of that first chest, and then the other 2 it's on the bottom of the chest.
Yeah, and it looks like giants are not to be trifled with this seed either, so... Yeah. Where is it? Oh no! 2 for 2. There's an ice sword, 611 gold, so... Ice sword's a pretty big upgrade from that great axe, and got a Elastoid going into the volcano now, and just gotta say no to these peeds. I understand not wanting to take any fights when you're checking hairpin and don't have warp or exit, but I'm hard pressed to turn down that experience.
Yeah, especially if I haven't gotten anything great down here already, you might as well see what peds have, and you can always check outside Crescent. If you get them first turn, you can get a pretty decent experience boost from just fighting some peds for a little bit.
Oh good. We found Stone Touch. I think it's on the Geists. So Earth Cave is, yeah, both Earth Cave and Ice Cave not so nice today.
Yeah, we just saw Life Reboot and Elastoid fighting the same pack of enemies, but one's in Volcano and one's in the Earth Cave.
Oh, this is a dangerous ambush, and I hope Life Reboot throws a nuke into this because these oozes are oh, the thief gets the clutch run. Yeah, those oozes follow up with some nasty stuff after those gazes go off. All right, you've made it to Lich finally. What could you have? Ice Sword doesn't do any crits. The nuke rolls 322, and that's enough. So, despite all of the wipes, Life Reboot the first one to light an orb. And that's a nice dungeon to get out of the way. Feels bad that you didn't find any loose items in it, but knowing what we know on Elastoid's side, it doesn't set him back too much.
Yeah, if you were Elastoid, would you be feeling behind right now? Would you be just hoping that your opponent ran into the same thing? I mean, I'd probably be a little scared, at least I got through the dungeon, but if he flew through or has been checking everything else, I'd be worried that I was behind.
I think both of them feel like they're behind. It's real easy to feel that way.
Yeah, that's true. And there's been a lot of seeds that have finished in an hour and a half or less so far this tournament. So as I'm watching, I'm looking at it going, man, even my practice runs are way behind. So,
wow,
not
only is it Stone Touch, but it's Stone Touch on 3 hit geists.
Yuck. Yeah, I would be running away from them as quick as I can and probably throwing nukes down anytime I could.
Yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were saying about your practices?
No, I just, I've been feeling behind just watching all the other runners because you see a lot of people finishing in an hour and a half, and I'm like, man, I was feeling pretty good about an hour and 45 minutes 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, these the tricky thing about these seeds is that they can play out as real fast or real slow depending on where the incentive items land, and you just don't know until you get into it. We had a race earlier with a 20-minute floater. This is looking like it's probably a 145 here at least. just because of how nasty things are. All right, we get a white shirt, which is real nice to find. Toss that on the black belt or the thief, and they're getting some work done in the fiend fights.
Elastoid was sailing away and decided to go back. Looks like, oh, maybe he was thinking there was gold bracelets there at Elfland.
Yeah, either that or the pro rings, but not to be. Life. So I think we saw those at Melmond, right?
Yeah, yep, they were both over at Melmond. And I wonder if he's panicking once he saw that canoe and just going, oh man, I just spent all that time in Earth and canoe was right there the entire time.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a gamble. That was and it was kind of one of those follow the logic gambles too. You know, you get the rod and you're thinking maybe rod blocked in those bottom 8 is something that I need, but just not today. We got unrunnable fires here, so even more nukes forced to be used.
So now it'll be interesting to see where life goes, if he's going to Ordeals or sailing around the bottom to Crescent or going to the waterfall.
Anything is better than Ice Cave right now, so Life Reboot is making some pretty good progress here. I don't think Elastoid has found any loose items in Volcano.
No, I don't think so.
Catman with Blizzard. Oh, jeez. Mirage Tower is going to be fun.
They do have the Mirage Tower available too, so that would be a play, but without Cube, it's probably less likely.
Yeah, and with a couple of incentive locations on the table. So Life Reboot is also going to do this dungeon without warp. We'll see how that shakes out.
Oh yeah, and Avos Ruin is pointing out that we did find a white shirt in the armory there, so that's pretty decent find. Looks like Life Reboot does know about these linked chests. It took me forever to figure out why no one else checked that top right room in Ordeals, because it's linked with the bottom left chest on the next floor.
Yeah, sometimes it's a good idea to check that out too, as Elastoid finds a light axe, which is a nice fighter upgrade. Because there's also a trap tile in front of that, and sometimes when you're looking for a good spot to grind, that is one of those lesser checked tiles and can make a big difference, especially in a seed where you want to run black belts. Oh, there's another huge treasure chest, and this is a really bad encounter. Life Reboot doesn't know how bad this is. Because those frost wolves also have poison.
Oh wow, yeah, I missed what had poison earlier, so I was gonna say that's usually a decent one if you're looking for some experience, but I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, it was the frost giants that had it, but still pretty bad because they're gonna soak some damage. Oh, we got the second katana. We got the slab.
So at least that second katana, if Life Reboot decides that he really wants to get a gold bracelet, he can go up and sell one of those for sure, and probably would have enough to get at least one of those gold bracelets.
This is just not Elastoid's day. He checks the volcano tile and immediately runs into a pack of waters that throw Bane. So he takes another wipe. This is just Elastoid has with surgical precision found all of the awful things in this seed.
Looks like Life Reboot's trying to decide where to go. It'd be really nice. We know that it'd be nice if he went up to Crescent to get that Oxyal before heading down to Waterfall, but now he's going off to the right. Maybe he's gonna check Mirage.
Yeah, cheeky first floor Mirage play. And yeah, I wonder if Life Reboot just feels kind of intimidated and wants to do the unusual checks just to see if he can catch Elastoid in a bad spot.
Maybe he was there Monday night for that first race when Cube was in first floor of Mirage Tower.
Oh, jeez, that's so awful. I mean, Waterfall is also still on the table, and I don't think we found the. Have we found the shop item yet?
I don't think we have. So he's got 2 checks for shop items with Caravan and Onrak, which is definitely a good way to go, because if it's not there, then you know it's going to be in Gaia.
No, there's a Vorpal, so not too bad. Sunsword is pretty good to find now. There's okay, so Xcal and Vorpal in the same room. That's a pretty good duo to finish the game with at the end. Elastoid finding a ribbon in Volcano, so not a complete lost cause here.
Yeah, Life Reboot decides to head out and save before going any further down, which is a good call after all of those swords were found.
Yeah, we've got a second floor check as well, so if something is squirreled away in here, it might take Elastoid a long time to find it, but there's that pack of catmen, and they're not putting up with any of Life Reboot's BS. Yeah, they can buy work now.
Yeah, right? Well, and if Life Reboot knew it was there, he might be going to get it, but he hasn't been to check level 6 magic yet. But it will help. I'm sure he'll stop there before he heads to Ice Cave.
We have not seen either loose item, and right now, Elastoid loses a fighter. There's an unequipped ribbon just sitting on the table, so this could be a real dicey carry fight. Probably. Oh, carry? I'm sorry, I'm at Team Rocket.
Yeah, as you can see, I think Elastoid's done a couple of sprite edits for his randomizer there.
Uh-oh, so there's a nuke in there for 198, one for 194. Here's an ink from Team Rocket. 3 nukes, and they're blasting off again. So carry not rolling too high this time, and it's a good thing for Elastoid.
Elastoid was seeing Blaze from Carry as Life Reboot was seeing Blizzard from the Mirage Tower there, so got a little bit of fire and ice going on.
A game for all seasons. Let's see what we got in the greater than less than room. There's a ribbon. That is going to be so nice to have for any potential dives into.
He didn't move that.
Any potential dives into.
Didn't move that flame shield onto his fighter right away. I think he just had an iron or even a silver. Either way.
Yeah, that's going to be painful, especially with these Blizzard Catmen getting the jump on him. Yeah, and I think the fighter would have stuck around through this, but just that is another death. And do you feel like digging it out, Life Reboot? Sure does.
Also, everybody out there, make sure, if you're enjoying the runners, make sure to go ahead and follow them. I know Life Reboot has done quite a bit of FFR on his stream. He's working through some other Nintendo games right now as well. And you said that Elastoid does speedruns of Shadowrun. Is that what his other main game is?
Alright, please equip the stuff. There we go. Alright, now you just gotta get out of it. Life Reboot is running from a lot of stuff that I would throw nukes into.
Yeah, even these Saber Tees and Catmen, I'd be throwing at least one nuke at them just in case I can't run away right away.
Yeah, it's usually good enough to kill them, but yeah, there's the nuke. Oh, they follow up with trance lovely. It gets everybody. I think you're safe if you have a ribbon, huh? Not today. And we'll see how Elastoid fares with this extra ribbon. So Life Reboot is just gonna leave that on the table, but that is definitely worth dipping into and grabbing on the way up. And Warple and Excal are a nice duo to have post promotion. So not a wasted trip, but feels kind of bad that you couldn't dig that ribbon out.
Yeah, at least he knows where it is, but now it looks like he's trying to decide where to go next.
Oh god, Elastoid getting wiped by poison again. Gets hit by rub from the wizards, the final insult. This is one of the nastier ice caves that we've seen.
That is a good question, Crabcakes. Who would you say is winning Edge? I think they're pretty even considering what we've seen so far.
Yeah, they've got one orb lit. Life Reboot did a full clear of Earth. Elastoid did a full clear of Volcano. But Elastoid has just run into the meat grinder known as Ice Cave so much that there's really just really no progress being made right now. These images with poison just ripping apart this party.
Life Reboot going up to check on the caravan and see if there's an item up there. Our tracker tonight, Avos Ruin, will always remember about the caravan because in his seed this week he had to find the loose item there. I think it was a floater or it was something nasty that he had to get at caravan, and both runners forgot about it for a little while.
All right, so we have a crown, the loose item hanging out in Anorak, and also gonna pick up some. Buy 10 on those real expensive houses. Not so good, but yeah, this is looking like gearing up for a waterfall dive. So Life Reboot is getting some stuff done, while Elastoid struggles with this incentivized location. Ice Cave not playing nice today. Life Reboot able to make it through Ordeals, no problem.
Yeah, crab cakes, it is. I wonder if Life Reboot just didn't think of going to Crescent Lake yet, or that's usually a pretty easy check. Maybe he did Earth Cave early once he got the rod and just wasn't thinking about going to Crescent, or maybe he thinks about it just when he's going to Volcano, but he wanted to go turn in the herb, and then after that, once he got his canoe, decided to go check out Ordeals.
Yeah, Gas Dragon's rolling pretty big, and Life Reboot just not taking a lot of these fights along the way. I think Life Reboot just decided, you know what, those those Medusa and Iron Gold tiles are good enough for me. I'm just gonna get all my levels there after I clear out all of these this experience. So kind of an interesting strategy. See how it plays out.
Yeah, there could be some nerves mixed in with there too. It's as far as I know, this is his first spring tournament, and it's a big field. There's a lot of people. You don't necessarily know who's really good and who isn't, and you know that you got a bunch of people who are coming back from not having played for a while, and with a couple wipes and Earth Cave, and probably feels like he's behind. He might be just rushing through stuff too.
Yeah, it's definitely true. You feel nerves in your first couple matches, but after you get a few under your belt, it feels a lot better. So it's a it's a learning experience for a lot of runners in this tournament, and it's a big field too. So a lot of possible matchups that we could be seeing coming up. So it's definitely going to keep the runners on their toes.
Oh, and he finds the floater there in the waterfall and a black shirt. So that's a pretty good haul, and at least that makes it a little bit better that he doesn't have Oxia yet.
Yeah, black shirt, opal armor as well, and the floater. So when promotion comes, Life Reboot is going to be geared up pretty good. And that black shirt is also real nice to have on the black mage because of the time elemental resistance. It's that and the ribbon that are the only things that give you that resistance.
Yeah, I actually was just learning about that today. There's been quite a bit of chatter in the duckling pond area for new runners and people asking about resistances and everything else as we're going through this first week, and seeing races and seeing all the different commentary and just getting great explanations in the Discord. So if you're interested in running, if you want to know more about the game, or you're interested in helping with the broadcasts, as we're doing 37 broadcasts a week, please feel free to join the Discord. Check out FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, and there's a link right on there to join the Discord. You can roll up a couple seeds and see how you do.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, feel free to post in the post in the Discord. Ask some people to craft some flags for you. I'm sure they'd be happy to help. Yeah, Avo's making a good point as well. No loose items have been found. And we have two through lit 3. These cur sharks are huge and also unrunnable. This is such a rude ice cave. Elastoid down to 2 characters, and it's a loot, so... Oh gosh, that feels bad too, because you could have just came here at the end and got it, but... It's definitely a needed item. We'll see if Elastoid can get this out.
Looks like Life Reboot is heading up towards Crescent Lake now, so we'll find out where his Oxiel is, and then we'll see where he decides to go from there.
Yeah, so Life Reboot not aware of any of the dangers of Ice Cave at all. So 7th try being the charm for Elastoid. Yeah, time to cash that old floater in. And this is going to make doing that crown turn in a lot easier as well. So life reboot is going to go talk to the sages here. Gonna have to double dip the on-rack area, but honestly, it worked out pretty okay. Has enough cash for the big warp as well, but it's just he's gonna hang on to that right now. Check to see if he's got any charges of it first. I think I would have just grabbed it right away. Better to have it in hand than have to come back for it.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to take the chance of forgetting about warp, because especially in Ice Cave, we've now seen what's all down there. You can get in and out a whole lot quicker and not have to find the Gersharks.
Yeah, if Life Reboot manages to get through with warp, that shaves a whole loop out of the run through the dungeon. So it's a real big advantage for him. See where he's headed right now. The crown turn in is on the table. And Elastoid in a boat versus Life Reboot in the air. And Life Reboot also found the slab, so it's a good time to drop this off.
I was wondering if he was going to save money for those gold bracelets, but looks like maybe he's just skipping right past him. Although he doesn't have enough money anyways, so...
Yeah, I think that may be what he was kicking around in his head. Do I do the gold bracelets or... Oh, we are coming back to Earth to get some experience now. Maybe do some fundraising. That thief is dead, so... And we've got some more incentive items, so... I don't mind the grind move. I would definitely like to find... I would definitely like to find the gear, or turn in the incentive items first.
Yeah, the extra 5% experience, and you never know what you could find. You could find your tail, and then you're not missing out on magic charges for your fighter or your knight as you go.
Life Reboot may not know that, stepping down and then up will get you nothing but Iron Golem encounters. But the Germadusas are nothing to sneeze at either. And unfortunately, they're very, very resistant to Death Element.
Greggly Puff coming in and saying that those are awesome tiles, and being a black belt specialist, he's one to look for tiles all the time.
Yeah, this man knows his grind tiles.
I mentioned to him on Tuesday that I was debating if I get into a party draft of taking a black belt, and his first response was, "Do you know where all the grind tiles are? If not, I can show you where they are."
It's a good move, and like I said, knowing which ones don't get checked very often can save you when there's not really those obvious tiles kicking around. Another good example of that are tiles on the way to Kraken, and I've seen Spell Zap and Thunder both use those to great effect.
Elastoid finding a bunch of Gersharks and running as soon as he can find them.
So here's the neat thing now. Life Reboot at level 18 not only has warp, but a couple of charges of it too, so... Only problem is these darn Germadusas, so... They do not resist Zap, though. But looks like it is not super accurate today.
Yeah, Gurmedusas with a stun touch is pretty scary because once they have you stunned, they can multi-hit you and they can do quite a bit of damage.
But yeah, with in this situation, now that the pack is thinned out a little bit, it's not nearly as scary. So Elastoid, meanwhile, dug out the bottle, and we still have yet to find a loose item. There's some ice armor as well, so some good pre-promotion gear and post-promotion gear for the ninja.
Yeah, and we've seen quite a few checks. I mean, we've seen all of Mirage Tower, all of Earth, Ice, and Volcano.
Oh gosh, what if it's key locked? And that's the question that'll be answered from Astos handing that thing over. Could be also left side Sea Shrine, which Elastoid is going to be checking out fairly soon. So this opens up a large number of items to be able to check in immediately. Here's your tail.
Wow, yeah, and especially with like the bottle going to Elastoid before he's got his floater. Once Life Reboot finds it, he can just go turn that bottle in right away, where Elastoid still has to wait. They've already found their slab and turned it in, so you can go check Lefane while you're up here turning in your tail.
Yeah, and Life Reboot is not wasting any time here. Just run straight for the promotion. Gonna get that Excal equipped. Gonna get that Opal armor equipped. Just gonna make diving these dungeons so much nicer. And if you think about it, there's lightning resistance is real important too.
Yeah, that's true. And you can once he decides to bring that thief back up, he's got a katana for him, so he's already got some decent armor that he can wear that he can just trade from the fighter as well. So he's sitting pretty well.
Yeah, the Vorpal, good to switch over when you're fighting Tiamat 2 and Chaos. Excal does pretty good against the first three Fiends, so it's a good combination to have. But yeah, we are going to see a left side check now, so. And Life Reboot is going to start putting Warp to work here. And we have yet to see what's kicking around Cardia, so that is also another place where some loose items could end up. Yeah, and right now we have no idea where the cube is, so. Oh, double Gersharks on Elastoid side, now come the Lit 3s, so every dungeon Elastoid has been going to, it's been so costly resource-wise. And yeah, Cardia coming up big empty so far, 3 more chests to go.
Yeah, the Sea Shrine just seems to be full of Gersharks today.
Yeah, that's tough too, because those guys roll a lot of HP. So when they end up with a script, it's hard to take them down in one round. Yeah, Life Reboot remembering that the slab was dropped off, so time to see what the Lefenians have. No, leave the Tyro alone.
I take it you're a member of Team Tyro?
one of the original members. Nah, It's Tyros are pretty good as far as experience goes. It's just how fast can you bring them down, because they have a lot of magic resistance, strangely enough. So if you got a real strong weapon and you can take them out in one round, then yeah, I can see it. But otherwise, it seems like there's a lot better options.
Yeah, I definitely learned that the other day when I had some Tyros that had over 600 health and couldn't barely do any damage to them.
Yeah, it feels bad when like they soak 3 nukes and they're still standing there in the next round. So I tend to skip them a lot, unless I've got like Mazmune and can just crunch them down in one turn. Everything that isn't a light warrior has excellent magic resistance, except for strangely enough, man cats in iron gold or mud goals and rock goals. Try zapping those 3 guys. You'll meet with a surprising amount of success.
And one thing I've learned through the randomizer is that Kraken 1 has a whole lot less magic defense than you would imagine.
Yeah, Bracken the Kraken, right? Here, Life Reboot, take this Cheerio. Not too bad, but certainly not what you're looking for. And it seems more and more likely that that bottle that Elastoid found is going to come into play. That's right,
Yeah.
the Medusa's also pretty weak. Hey, speaking of swords.
Well, now Life Reboot can choose whichever sword he wants to use, wherever he'd like to do it.
Yeah, it's actually really nice to have that in hand, because you can put that on the red mage and have a second melee fighter, and then swap it over for your boss fights.
I think the only one we haven't seen yet is the defense sword, which you would always love to see.
The defense sword is the black belt's favorite sword, but it does a lot of work in these flags. The coral sword, not so much. And it's just, where's that other loose item at? And right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be in C either. So Life Reboot found the tail real fast, but hasn't found anything else. We've got Keylocked Temple of Fiends, we've got Keylocked Elfland, and also Keylocked Marsh. Yeah, Brack is about 25% on Kraken 1. It's one of those interesting things that Brack works as effectively on Kraken 1 as it does on Tiamat, even though Kraken doesn't have the weakness to it. Hey, there's a TNT.
Double keylocked loose items.
Yeah, there's also dragon armor too, so big find there. So yeah, Life Reboot just needs to really clean up the incentive locations, and he's in good shape. So finding that key and that floater early is paying off huge.
Yeah, he does still have that iron shield on, even though there's an ice shield sitting down on his black mage, or black wizard.
Yeah, I have forgotten about items that I have picked up a lot, and I've also been guilty of forgetting to move the ribbon in Temple of Fiends as well. But there's our long lost cube, so it's just tying everything into kind of a nice, neat bow here. Just the loot is hanging out in Ice Cave, and that's really the last helpful item that Life Reboot needs to grab.
Yeah, so that means the bottle will lead to, the ferry to Power Bunk, as Avos Ruin just said in chat there.
We've got Piston Honda on the Elastoid side, but even though that flurry of punches hit the red mage, not much you can do once Brack hits. So second orb lit for Elastoid, but still needs to find the 2 loose. Meanwhile, Life Reboot just needs to pick up that, just needs to pick up the loot and is in real good shape here. So, are we gonna finally see Ice Cave on Life Reboot's side? He's put this off long enough. This is still gonna be real rough with all of the damage poison that's around, but the extra magic resistance is gonna help out a lot. So we'll see if Life Reboot. Oh, we'll see if Life Reboot decides to even full clear this dungeon. He's got 3 warp charges, so that would be enough to, run out of that center room. Oh, hey, we found Geists again. They're stun touched.
Yeah, you never realize just how often you see some of these enemies until they have something really nasty.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So the warp trick is gonna save Life Reboot a lot of time here, and he's leaving the black mage. Leaving the black mage petrified, not having life. This might actually be a real good move. Because if that black mage died, then you'd have to do the trip to the incentive chest the hard way. So. Oh, there goes thunder, so we were talking about lightning resistance.
Yeah, he's now learning what Elastoid learned a while ago, that Ice Cave is not for the weak right now.
Yeah, it's the Quad X on the Frost Dragon, though, and that is a good use of Quad X. Those Frost Dragons, generally, their durability comes from how evasive they are. So the Black Mage is still alive, the Red Mage taking a dirt nap, so the Warpcaster is still alive, and we're going to get a chance to see what he does after finding this loot. Elastoid, meanwhile, tying up some loose ends, is going to collect the good gear here. And yeah, this is a little bit of a long walk out, but this floor tends to be a little kinder than the lower floors, so Life Reboot is just gonna get the heck out of here, and that's gonna save him. It's gonna save him a lot of time. So there's the floater, and Elastoid and I always joke that the floater ends up in Volcano, so I'm going to have plenty to talk to him about after this scene. Oh no! He's got to get that nuke off on these wizards. Oh, he does. Okay, so lots of bad news this seed, so... Yeah, he just has to turn the corner and run as fast as he can. He's got some nuke charges, so hopefully he'll be able to survive this. But yeah, this is looking pretty scary right now.
And he does make it out, so he's got that loot.
Oh, we got the Frosty, but he gets the Quad X out, so yeah, makes it out.
Yeah, and that one Black Wizard saving the day, making it through, but he still decides to keep his ninja laying down.
Alright, it's Volcano time, and we'll see how many chests Life Reboot decides to check here, because he knows where one ribbon is, but can't quite get to it, and he has not seen the other one that Elastoid found.
Yeah, and he knows where both loose items are, so he knows that he doesn't need anything else. He's in go mode and doesn't even need to worry about, unless he really wants the power bunk.
Which is it's not a bad item to get, but I would rather get some. I feel pretty good with 2 mages having having a giant pile of temper charges there. Lifereboot making good use of the damaged tiles, zipping through Volcano, and yeah, no chests are even getting open. Not even the green chests that are kind of along the way. So that ribbon is going to get missed, but Carrie is going to get trucked real fast.
Yeah, which is good because it was either Blaze or Blizzard. I don't remember at this point, but I know we saw both of those at the same time between the two runners.
Yeah, it was leadoff Blaze, which almost took out the red mage, but Elastoid squeaked by on that fight. But Lifereboot with the Dragon Armor swinging an X-Cal, this is going to go a lot differently. Oh, he's got the Masmute, even better. And that's the Fire Orb lit for life.
Yeah, and level 20, you still have the Sea Shrine and Mirage and the flying floating castle. So he's doing pretty good on levels. Should be pretty good once he gets through the last two dungeons.
So Elastoid is currently working his way through the spin cycle of ordeals. And now that there's been a promotion, Lifereboot is going to go grab all those spells that... Nope, not happening. Never mind. Forget it. Got life, good enough. So,
That
Earth
Q4
is done.
would be pretty nice.
Yeah. I don't know if he's got enough spell charges right now in the night. Let me see if I can catch that real quick. Nope, power cycles. But yeah, Cure 4 on the night is super, super useful. You can tank so much damage that way. And it's interesting too, because if you get into one of those situations where you're down to just the fighter, it feels real bad, like resorting to the white shirt to stack evasion slowly. But if you have Cure 4, that's actually doable. So it makes up for a lot of different strategies. And yeah, we're gonna take that dive into sea, and I wonder if he's gonna go for any of the incentive chests on the or the incentive chest on the right side.
Yeah, that is a good point. I think he's probably the first one that I've seen go into sea in go mode on these flags, and looks like he's just going to turn left and go right to Kraken.
Yeah, so doesn't really. Let's see. There is he gonna move the black shirt around? He's gonna put the opal bracelet on, which is pretty good too. And yeah, again, that lightning resistance is going to come in real handy here. So just on the order alone, Lifereboot has gotten kind of an advantage on Elastoid. Just has the right equipment and the right spells to make these dungeons a whole lot easier. Gershark's gonna go down. Big Eye is made of glass this seed, so if Lifereboot makes it to the level 24 threshold, that's gonna be a pretty good spot. That fifth swing with the Masmute. I anticipate Fast will be found at some point. Unless it was it at level 4? I don't remember.
I don't think we've seen Fast yet, and I don't know if he checked the magic shops in Onrak there, or haven't seen him check like Gaia either. I don't think he had fairies, so he may not have even gone there.
Yeah, it would be worth digging out Onrak and Gaia for sure. And Elastoid's probably going to peek into the shop here. Oh, runs right by.
Elastoid is finally in the air about 30 minutes after lifereboot found the floater with the pretty massive route divergence that the two have had. And while I'm sure he'll be glad to see the power gauntlet, that's not what you want to see right after you get in the air this late into a seed.
Yeah, that means you have to. You're committing to do everything else at this point, so not a good feeling on Elastoid's side, but at least you got something useful out of it. I don't get to see that room too often. The other thing I was considering too is lifereboot knows about where those real good grind tiles are. So even if he comes up a little short in the level department, that's a lot of levels that you can get real quick off those Gurmajuses and Iron Golds.
And Elastoid finds his tail, so we'll probably be seeing him go and promote soon. Does find a fighter mage tile. That's not too bad to get a couple levels on.
Yeah, fighter mage not too bad. Double fighter is definitely what you're looking for. So Elastoid gets his tail, and yeah, time to dig up all the rest of the key chests. So going into Canaria.
He does decide to bring his black belt back. I'm guessing maybe just to get levels from now on, because I don't think you're gonna go and try to grind that black belt up to a point where he's gonna be really useful pre-promotion.
Yeah, maybe get some incidental levels before promotion. Let's see what he decides to do here. Is it back at Ice Cave, huh? Is this... He might be committing to a grind here at this point. What did we see that was real good in Ice Cave? Oh, you know what we saw that was really good in Ice Cave? Things to kill party members.
Yeah, that's true. That might be the only reason he came here.
So he's got Geist with Stone Touch, the Spectre, and the... So if you can get some petrified party members, that might help out a lot. And on lifereboot's side, we have the big squid taking out the ninja.
Yeah, that ninja with 1 health did his job of taking a fight and 174 extra damage that he saved from someone else.
Yeah, one of the things that I don't see mentioned enough when people are arguing over the benefits of thieves is that low-level dead party members also count as evasion stacks.
And as you can see on Elastoid's side, he does have that 3rd palette used for the his character sprites. So anytime that he's stoned and the screen flashes, his top character there changes colors on him.
The amazing Technicolor Tele. But yeah, this is holy moly, this is a nasty group too. And Life Reboot ready to pick up that ribbon on the way up. So I wonder if he'll dig out any more convenient chests. But come on, man, eat the sandwiches. Those guys are so good. Well, we got Chimeras with Stop, and that kind of takes out the bottom two rows, but now Slow doesn't hit either, which is a relief. So it's probably the fastest way Life Reboot could have got through that fight. And yeah, let's get the ribbon. And yeah, Elastoid is looking for this mage fighter group. Yeah, puts the ribbon on the fighter, so yeah, this if only Elastoid knew that there were just two tiles that were so much better than this.
Yeah, and he's had a pretty rough go of it and seen some pretty nasty stuff. He's probably afraid that Temple of Fiends is going to be really tough at this point.
Yeah, either that or he feels so behind that his only hope is that Temple of Fiends is really tough, and you know what? I'll just do a grind up front.
Yeah, that black belt has been sleeping for quite a while, Crab Cakes. It's been, it might have been almost since he was leaving the Inner Sea, I think that black belt was down, and maybe it might have died in Marsh Cave, actually.
We got some bad cats here throwing blizzards out, so, and trance, so this is going to be tough for Life Reboot to get out of. Even the dead body of the Black Mage is still paralyzed, but Life Reboot is pretty good in the equipment department. So as long as Tiamat 2 is not punch happy, or Tiamat 1 is not punch happy, this might be doable.
I don't mind putting my black belt down if I have life early, and then if I can find a spike tile, I can bring him back to do this grind. But I think at an hour and a half in, I would have committed to a fighter at this point, and if anything, I'd be leveling that fighter up quite a bit.
Yeah, if you can get the fighter up to 35, that is a pretty strong melee as well. It's not the legendary 42 black belt, but it's not going to take you as much time either.
Life Reboot saying that I got a mass mune, let's just go and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, I would just be holding A on these things. Like, help yourself to some nachos. You've earned it. Yeah, this level 24 right there.
I'm hoping next year's spring tournament will be even bigger, and we'll have to get Speed Gaming to open up the Speed Gaming 8, the Nacho channel.
Hey, we've got Ochos too.
There were some graphics kicking around in the Discord the other day for the Ocho and the Nacho Speed Gaming already. Dark Moon is ready for it.
So these airs are as evasive as ever, so good experience from it, but they're probably going to take 2 turns to pop. I don't really hate getting all of this experience though. Like, it's not very often that you come up here with a solo fighter, so anything that you can do to improve your odds in the Tiamat fight Might as well take it. But level 25 is enough for life, and just hold A and see what we get. 2 hits for 2 damage. There you go. 3 hits for 28. Oh no!
Yeah, we've got a lot of absorb on both sides, and at least lifereboot has a good MDef on his side as well. So this could be a little while.
Not going anywhere for a while. Oh, there's paralysis. This is not good. The Tiamat just can't do a whole lot of damage here. That damage amplification is coming into effect though. And is she? Yeah, she is not going spell happy. And this might be a loop, given how things are going. Yeah, this is a terrible way to go. You got Cure 4 though? Do you have Cure 4? Cure 4 would help.
Did he go and pick up Cure 4? If he did, I missed
I don't know. That would
magic.
Yeah, that would help so much. But yeah, fasted Tiamat taken out. But what can you do?
Yeah, lifereboot just go moded right through Sea Shrine and never picked up the bottle to get the power bong.
Yeah, lifereboot has to pick that that ribbon up again, so it's gonna take a little while, but if he makes it through without seeing any catmen, it's gonna help out a lot, whole lot.
So that'll give Elastoid a little bit of a chance to catch up some more here. He's still in his grind though, so we'll see how long it takes and how high he's wanting to go.
Yeah. This is yeah, lifereboot still in the driver's seat here. We'll see how long it takes, because Elastoid not only has to do this grind, but also has to clear 2 Fiend dungeons as well. So it's going to take lifereboot a couple of wipes in order to hand the lead back. So Elastoid may just be playing to what he thinks are his outs. He feels so far behind that you know what? Let's just hope it's awful, and I'll grind this black belt up.
Yeah, that is true, Avos Ruin. What you said is, with leveled fighter and black belt, you will, as long as you should be able to cruise right through as long as nothing has death touch or any of those. I don't know if lifereboot is really happy that we added dragons back in for this year.
So yeah, the grind train's still going, just throwing the black shirt out into these mages, and yeah, I wonder how far Elastoid's gonna go. 32 with temper gets a lot of work done, but 42 is just disgustingly powerful. So we'll see where the break point is. And yeah, trying to dig out another ribbon maybe. Got some work charges, so not a bad speculative guess, but we know where one of them already is. So I have not seen the defense sword yet, though. Alright, once more onto the bridge. Take that, air elementals. And looks like we had to stop at 32, so... Oh, we had to stop at 30, so 32 should happen by the time Elastoid finishes the seed out.
Looks like he's gonna get himself some gold bracelets, and I'm surprised to see his fighter still down, but maybe he just wants to get those last couple levels that much quicker.
Yeah, the fighter really doesn't need any more experience.
Life Reboot pulls a war mech.
Are we gonna fight this just for the meme strats? I mean, it's real good experience too, but holy cow, he hits like a truck. Yeah, he's just going for this. Well, he didn't have very much HP, but unfortunately the fighter gets none of that. It feels real bad.
Well, that gets him a couple more spell charges on his 2 mages at least.
Alright, so what does the Elastoid sprites turn into now?
Life Reboot takes down Tiamat. He used a lot of the knowledge he gained the first time to know that Tiamat wasn't going to hit that hard, so he could just put that thief up on top, and he was ready to go.
Yeah, the sacrificial jest doing work. And yeah, Elastoid is just barreling through Cardia now. Where are those? Where is that last loose item? And it's just sitting in Elfland.
Elfland and dwarves.
Yeah, the extra spell charges and survivability on the mages, it's gonna be pretty nice. So you're disappointed that it didn't, your fighter didn't get the experience, but he's pretty tanky. It's still definitely if that Warmech fight was worth taking. So here we go into Temple of Fiends, and looks like Life Reboot is gonna burn through a bunch of cabins and tents just to line the heal potions up. Nope, too many.
Ooh, Frosty's right away. That could be pretty rough.
So yeah, time to visit Leifin and pick up another part of the puzzle here. So enjoy your adamant. We've got Guard Sentry on the Phantom tile, so no thanks. And no checks of the left or right chest either. Life Reboot, gonna get this done with just one ribbon, and I don't know if Life Reboot picked up Cure 4 or not still. Woof. Okay, well, that's a reset.
Elastoid taking out a Tyro on his side on the way back from Lefane.
You got stop from the chimeras. So just please get me off of this floor. I beg you. Yeah, I think Elastoid has checked these already, so he still doesn't want the coral sword though, so going back to do the rest of the key checks now. So we'll see what is next in the order here. Yeah, gonna go dig out dwarves. And is life reboot gonna go grind some more?
Yeah, it looks like it. He might be just wanting to get off that first floor.
This might actually pay off for him because right now he just needs better magic resistance. And it's an embarrassment of riches here. Feel bad running away from the Germaduses because you could just throw a nuke in there and get as much as these 2 iron goals, but I guess this is the one that he wants, so.
And he hasn't gone back to get either Cure 4 or Cure 3 yet. He just has Invis charges on that night.
Yeah, so here we go, just throwing nukes into iron goals and then warping out. So not a bad way to get a ton of experience pretty quick. And yeah, this is definitely securing things pretty well since Elastoid still has to clear Earth and air. Yeah, not to mention too, Masmian being a very powerful weapon and Katana being real crit happy. This is looking pretty good. As far as making it efficient, whether you run into 1 iron goal or 2. He's just going real deep into that hallway. We're gonna do the whole circuit.
Might have just decided I'm gonna learn which trap tiles are what while I'm here.
Let's get some information here. The Hall of Iron Goals and Germaduses.
It's just spring tournament, no big deal. I'm just gonna learn what all the trap tiles are.
There's a better way to learn than experience, right? Alright, so we've got Elastoid, still hasn't found the loose TNT yet, is going to dig out these lock chests here. We haven't seen what's in these, so maybe the defense sword is hiding out. We got a 4-pack of trolls, and they have lit too. This is just... There have been so many abilities showing up on enemies that you run into. Alright, Sacrificial Jess in the first slot. But even the Thief is getting a lot of spell charges too, so get some nuke charges going, get some tempers.
Yeah, even on that Thief, I'd think about picking up Locke if he decides to get some more magic for him, and you never know when you can hit a high evade enemy.
Yeah, level 30, so over 200 health on the red mage, and that's kind of the nice standard there. But yeah, for the first few floors of Temple of Fiends are going to be real nasty to the point where I would almost want to move the ribbon to the guy that can cast life, but Elastoid also finds the dragon armor, so that's where that was hiding. So yeah, the next breakpoint for Masmian sits at 35. I don't know if Life Reboot is going to go that far, but this is just it's very interesting to kind of peek into the psychology of the runners. Like, do they both think they're behind and just play into the out that Temple of Fiends is awful? We'll see.
Yeah, and quite a few, I mean, like that first floor, quite a few of those enemies that we've seen before have been awful, so they know that they're probably going to run into at least one or two things that can take you out.
Alright, time for dwarves. Here, take this last item that you need. It's a cube. Elastoid is just taking the sad walk out, not even going to check the rest of the chests in there.
Which means that he's going to pass up the mass mune that was sitting in the locked room right next to him.
Oh, he already checked those. Okay, so he's got it.
Oh, good, okay.
So yeah, when is lifereboot gonna feel okay about this? Because Elastoid has a couple of dungeons that are pretty speedy to go mode here. Elastoid doing a little bit of encounter manipulation on the way out. That is another save, and we're not going back in anymore. So,
Besides level 32 is going to be enough.
Yeah, so I was curious to see if lifereboot would stop to pick up any more magic on the way, but this looks like he's happy with this. Is that not gonna bring the thief back up? Not sure how I feel about that one.
Yeah, that extra run chance, especially against these when you know you've got Frosties here, would be really nice.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where the thief is likely to die, sure, but it costs nothing to bring them back up when you've got a house in tow and you've got life charges. Just bring them back up. If they die, they die. You can bring them back up for the fiend fights whenever you want. So, hopefully lifereboot can get a little bit deeper here.
And like Crabcakes points out that he would have to use the house in order to get all those temper charges back too. Ooh, how do you like your slimes with squint and hold?
That's pretty rude. And yeah, a whole bunch of they get fast too. So of course the fasted one, the turn order was perfect. So yes, slimes can be deceptive. They can hit pretty hard when they want to. Oh no, almost off the floor. Come on, you can do it. Alright. The Group 8 Legendary Saria encounter shuffled into the Earth floor, so that is not too bad to find. And same with the Gurmedusas.
Yeah, those are two fights I would normally take, but at this point, level 32, life's probably feeling pretty good, and I'm probably feeling a little bit behind, so he just wants to get through these floors as fast as he can.
Yeah, the Red Mage has a nice amount of HP that guarantees to survive a nuke. And back-to-back bad stuff like a swirl followed by a nuclear gives the Red Mage a fighting chance living through that.
Goes right into Lich, just a nuke and a tiny little hit from a Vorpal, and then the Mass Mune goes and finishes him off.
Alright, so onto the fire floor while Elastoid is rushing through the sky maze. just fight, nuke, going all out offense here. And oh boy, that was a real beefy hit. So Carrie rolled a lot of damage, but hit the right mage, and yeah, able to life cast this. And we've got Mario 3 Bowser just chilling at the top of the castle.
This is not the castle you're looking for, though.
Yeah, you do not want to break through the bricks at the bottom of a sky castle. That is for sure. But it looks like that Tiamat was or that Bowser was not too strong. So zipping through here. Life reboot already on the water floor. Time for the Kraken fight. Do you bring up the sacrificial Jess? You do. Alright, not healing the knight though to full, and this is just another all-out offense kind of fight. And here comes the zap. Oh no, it gets the life caster! Doesn't matter how many levels you have when the instant death rolls out. And here comes a tornado as well. This is a pretty rough fight for Life Reboot right now.
Yeah, and he's over almost 1,200 damage on Kraken already. So
yeah, lands the stun because the black mage is less than 300 health, and he's still going. Wow, this Kraken he's got Cure 4, and that's gonna do it. Life Reboot has to reset. I think you're gonna have to just buff up for that fight, as bad as it feels. So that wipeout cracks open the window a little bit for Elastoid. Another wipe might equalize things here, but we'll see how fast he gets through Earth.
yeah, that would be another reason to bring that ninja back right now, even if you let him die, just to get the house and get spell charges back.
Yeah, 3 temper charges on that fighter is going to make a real big difference, because it looked like the evasion was about normal on that Kraken, just the absorb was real high.
And that power gauntlet could be important for Elastoid if life can't crack through this Kraken pretty soon.
Yeah, and I don't remember seeing Wall being available, do you?
No, I don't remember seeing it either. It might have been probably with level 7 or 8, because those are the only ones that weren't checked by anyone.
Yeah, or White Mage locked, but either way, that's kind of one of the risks that you take when you go with Red Mage as your primary source of white magic. Oh boy, we've got stop going non-stop here. And then the Chimeras follow this up with slow, so Life Reboot is just going to hold A to get through this fight, but it's going to be real slow. We haven't seen too far into the... Oh, we've got Mute now, so the Red Mage can't cast anything, and neither can the Black Mage, so this is not going so hot. But yeah, giant pile of experience from this, but not really what you're looking for. And Elastoid is creeping up here. Life Reboot's still in the lead, but one more wipe is probably gonna kind of flip the whole equation here.
Yeah, Elastoid definitely has the levels to be able to go in and try this Topher, and maybe, might be able to go right through that Kraken as well.
Yeah, with the leveled up black belt and a knight that has access to the Mazmune, That is, two decent physical fighters available. So, question in the chat: does Elastoid have any ribbons? He found one in Volcano during his full clear of that. It was in the room above. That poor vampire. Now he's just a meme.
I enjoy that he gave us enough time that you could actually read it if you wanted to as well.
But yeah, Elastoid found a ribbon in the room above the double Agama, vanilla Agama trap tile. So that is something that Life Reboot just go moded past. So did not see it at all. Oh, Lich should just
nuclear.
Yeah, just unfolding a casual nuclear. No real big deal here. Yeah, well, sure. I wasn't gonna use those heal potions anyway. It's fine.
At least we know Chaos doesn't have it.
Yeah, that is good to see that removed from the list, but there's still plenty of nasty stuff out there. The classic nuke, the tornadoes, the swirls, all that fun stuff. And here's a pack of images that are just absolutely destroying Elastoid's party, but got the ribbon on the life caster, and that's all that he needed. So round 2 through the we've got Death from Castlevania. Kind of an eclectic group of Fiend replacements here. So, Life Reboot might want to consider bringing the Sacrificial Jess up for this carry fight, because she really cleaned that Black Mage's clock there. It was 600 damage.
Yeah, and right. Life Reboot first entered Topher at about an hour and 50 minutes. And now they're pretty close to even. Life Reboot definitely has an information advantage.
Yeah, and the more time spent with running into these nasty packs, the better off it is for Elastoid. The double run failure didn't help either, but Life Reboot makes it to carry, and yep, here comes Jess. Alright, take a hit like a champ. Fight, double nuke. Yeah, 8 hits for 680. Mission accomplished. Hit the target. So onto the seafloor. Elastoid now only 2 floors behind. And the nastiness of this Kraken 2 fight is it's got to be reckoned with here. Here's an encounter you never want to see. So here we go. We were talking about Temple of Fiends being brutal, and see what that leadoff zap does, because that really sets the table for all kinds of awful stuff to happen. But yeah, we're going with Brack strats. So Life Reboot trying to hit the 6%er here, and down goes the life caster again. This is Yeah, this is ambitious to say the least. Kraken hits the Cure 4, so if you're gonna start piling damage on, now is a good time to do that. And still going with the Brack strat, so we don't know what else is beyond the Cure 4 in the spell list. Quad X is pretty good to see. The two physical attackers are doing pretty good damage. So as long as the spell train keeps going, I think Life Reboot will be okay, but one crushing hit could really change the whole complexion of this fight. Or a cast of fast.
And Elastoid has gotten through death already and on his way onto the fire floor.
This Kraken is absolutely massive, and Life Reboot just decides to switch focus, throw some nukes out. The ninja's on the verge of death, and so is the Black Mage. We've got Team Rocket here. Takes one punch and a nuke. And Life Reboot is through the Kraken fight. No Life Caster available, but still plenty of temper and still plenty of temper charges, so here we go. No Cure 4 from here on out, though, so gotta do the slow menuing. Yeah, and this is getting close. Elastoid only a floor separates them, but we know how much HP Kraken has, so see how Elastoid decides to play this fight.
Decides not to move the thief into the front position and realizes that he doesn't have any spell charges on the thief.
Yeah, also swings with the Black Mage, which is not a good move. So what does Tiamat do? Hits 2 for 43, and that's got to be a pretty big relief, I would say. So throws a temper in the lead slot. 210 is more like it. Kraken Honda punching for 500 damage on the lead knight. So this is looking pretty brutal here. There goes the zap.
Zap goes down.
Yeah, and Zap gets the black belt, doesn't have a ribbon on, so Elastoid is just hoping to just throw a bunch of damage in there and get the job done, but there's the Cure 4, and that's gonna feel real bad. Tiamat going down on Life Reboot's side. 9 temper charges on the Black Mage, so if the Black Mage can survive a few turns, that's gonna be real helpful on Life Reboot's chances here, and we'll see if the ninja can grab a couple of white shirt turns too. Yeah, there goes the tornado, and now Elastoid is just stacking ruse and fast onto this red mage, so could actually make it through. We'll see. Oh, there's a nuke. Holy cow, this guy's got everything. This is a brutal fight. Alright, Life Reboot into the fight. Has 4 charges of Invis 1, so not ideal, but those will add up pretty quickly. See what the ninja does. Some decent chip damage, 86 damage, but not really what you're looking for here. Stack another temper onto the fighter, 2 Invis stacks onto the knight.
Ooh, and Chaos takes out that black wizard. Kraken goes down with 11 health on that red mage.
Yeah, by the skin of his teeth. Life Reboot losing all the supporting cast, so This is it. We are in Hold A territory. Chaos is also in Hold A territory. Throws a nuke for 300. Quad X misses. Got another swing, 5 hits for 352. Good turn order. Goes first on this. 4 for 352. There's a lit 2. We get another swing on this. 437. Life reboot. That's a big chaos. And Elastoid suddenly jumps in front after that white knuckle Kraken fight. And life reboot is gonna go check out level 7 and 8 magic. So where was fast? We've got confused and sleep here. Especially with all those levels, there's wall level 7, so that answers that. A brutal chaos fight. Just, you know, if that black mage had lived another turn, or he had Cure 4 in the back pocket, I think that was in Life Reboot's hands, but not to be. Heal 3 also at level 8, one of those really nice to haves. And there's level 8 fast, so oof.
Good thing money is not an object anymore.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time now. So Elastoid looking a lot better as far as setting up for this. Ooh, gosh, Elastoid only has 6 heal potions left, so that could be problematic too. down goes the black mage again. It just looks like the old man had a heart attack and keeled over. So now the shoe is on the other foot. Elastoid with 2 feeds to go. Can he close it out? If not, Life Reboot's charging through and has a shiny new spell to make things easier.
Yeah, and Life Reboot still didn't bring his ninja back to get the spell charges, so that's one thing that could definitely help to have tempers on that thief.
You got Elastoid also with the power gauntlet, using that on the knight. So there's the tempers, there's the nuke.
I don't think that's the sword Life Reboot was looking for.
Yeah, 8 hits for 221. So Black Mage and Knight doing some work there. Or excuse me, the Black Belt. And now we cruise into the Chaos fight. And we don't have a lot of healing left, so who's going to get the 6 heal potions? Alright, this is it. There's no healing available on Elastoid's side from this point on, so other than the heal helmet, that's what you get. Wait a minute, that's not chaos. We've got the power gauntlet going down to the black belt. That's a good idea. Who is this guy? Oh no, it's Hans Gruber from Die Hard. Yeah, and all those tempers are stacking up real fast on that black belt, so Elastoid is gonna zip through this fight a lot more efficiently. So that is 3 stacks, and now stacking onto the knight. There's Fire 2 coming out. Haven't really seen any of the nastiness yet, so here we go. Another white shirt comes out. Out of temper charges, so time to throw some nukes. First swing, 4 hits, 431. We haven't seen the black belt punch yet. That's a crushing hit, 1129. Nuke rolls 206. Chaos replies in kind with another nuke. There's a quad X, down goes the knight, so things getting a little dicey here, but still churning out damage at grand a pop. That is a very, very big chaos. Already rolled over vanilla. see how much more you can take. Another 1120,
Wow.
and that's it in the books. Get your GGs out for Elastoid.
And Elastoid using that experience that he has from years of playing this game.
So we'll see if he wants to do an interview. But that was a crazy race. Elastoid getting run through the washing machine in ice for about 7 cycles. Looked like lifereboot had it, but just that was a real big chaos. And that's all it took. $232 battles, perished 4 times. Look at all that damage dealt. This was a grinder of a season. No. See when Elastoid can get up here.
Yeah, he did pretty close to a full clear in 2.5 hours, a little bit under 2.5 hours with a pretty high level grind as well.
And we're joined by Elastoid right now. GG.
Oh, was it though? It felt not GG. It felt very BG.
Maybe at least just a G.
Okay, I'll take a G. I'll take an MG. We'll call that a mediocre game.
So, just as far as the routing differences goes, man, you tried ice early, which is something that I find hard to argue with, but everything was awful in there.
Yeah, it was one of those things where images appear early. I feel like I can sort of, if I get past the images early, I can sort of avoid them. You know, I really need to be screwed over by a turn order. Because if any of my characters go, they can get like a Fire 2 off or something. So I felt like, okay, images aren't the worst just because they have damage poison, but then everything, then it turned out that frost giants also had damage poison, and I think when I found that frost dragons had thunder, I was like, okay, I'm not doing this.
Lifereboot takes another wipe, finding out that water elementals have Bane and losing.
Oh yeah, I discovered that. That was fun to discover.
Yeah, just everything was just so bad. The frost dragons, just getting murdered by thunder, and then the volcano was no picnic either with that trap tile.
Yeah, that trap tile where it's like, oh, this could be a good trap tile later. Oh no, it cannot. You've got Bane, you jerks. You know, and I was like, well, I've got that ribbon, so you have to punch my red mage to death instead of just. But they didn't have any problem punching my red mage to death. I don't know. It was girl.
And you know, for all the joking that we make about Floater being in Waterfall, where was it today?
Yeah, it was in Waterfall. I was in a spot where before I went to Ice Cave, I felt like I was probably a little bit ahead. And I had to decide whether to go south, like sail across the ocean, and check for Floater in, like, it could be in Ordeals, it could be in Waterfall. If Oxyale was down there, it could be there, and it also could be behind like item location, like an item shop, because the item wasn't found. There was Oasis there as well as the on-rack. So that's usually a really good play, but I felt like I was ahead, and I felt like the standard play would go to Ice Cave, especially considering you have Fire 2, and Nuke. And Ice Cave should be easy. So I was like, well, I'm going to go to Ice Cave because that's where I think he is.
Yeah, you're probably right. You were just a little bit ahead coming out before you went into Ice Cave, and that's where you guys split. Lifereboot went right to Earth Cave and cleared through there. He wiped once or twice on the way through. But then he went to the southern continent and checked Ordeals and Waterfall while you were still in Ice Cave and going through all that.
Yeah, he was also able to skip the whole item chain with the bottle leading to the power gauntlet as well. So it saved a little bit of time there. But yeah, that route divergence proved to be huge. But you pulled it back by kind of clutching out that Kraken 2 fight.
So, well, the Kraken 2 fight and there were a lot of things that after I died in Ice Cave that many times, I knew I was probably behind. So when I went to Onrak, I was like, I can't come back to Onrak. I need to be able to kill Kraken or I will lose this race. So it was like, if Brack doesn't work, I lose. Fortunately, Brack worked. And then Kraken 2, that was terrified. Kraken sort of knew what I had coming, I guess. Kraken was looking at my hand or what have you, because zeroed in on the black belt and then zeroed in on the fighter right before I used the Cure 4 after I'd been buffing him up, and it was just I had to decide whether to reset or to use all of my spell charges.
That was one thing that I wanted to ask you about. Why did you decide to keep the black belt dead for so long, and then just, was it just you found the right grind tile you were looking for, so you decided that it's been a rough seed, and if Life Reboot isn't done yet, that maybe it's going to be even rougher in Temple of Fiends, or?
It was a combination of, finding a grind tile finally, and not having any weapon for the fighter yet. I hadn't found Mass Mew, because Mass Mew was key-locked right there. And if I didn't find Mass Mew, right, I knew I couldn't be going through a bunch of chests trying to find something. So when I found Mass Mew, I was like, okay, I'm a 3-man instead of 2-man. But yeah, it was not an easy choice. And I don't think I ground him up to level 32. I think I went to 29 or something. And I was like, okay, that's more than enough. But I wanted to be comfortable just in case I didn't find that Mass Mutant, because if the fighter is just swinging the ice sword, he can tank just fine. He can stand in the front and have a bunch of absorb, but he was not going to be a consistent damage source.
That's right.
Especially with fast out of my reach.
Yeah, that's right. And I forgot that you didn't check the first floor of Mirage either, because that had Vorpal, Excal, and the Sun Sword all in those chests.
It had Excal and the Sun Sword. That's really, that's great. But if I was if I knew where it was, I could check it. But at that point, I was like, I can't check any more chests. I full go moded both Sky, Mirage Sky and Earth Cave. So the last 2 orbs were just straight to the orbs.
And I think the only nice thing that would have helped you out was second ribbon was in greater than less than room. But you're right, if you feel like you're behind, you can't really justify that time investment.
Yeah, I'd already sunk the time into the black belt, because the idea behind the black belt is I'm not getting the equipment. So once I had the black belt at that level, it sort of worked out perfectly for me. I killed enough fights in Sky to hit level 32, and then revived the fighter just in time to get level 25 from Tiamat, so he had a charge of Cure 4 just in case. Right, so it was pretty solid in terms of XP and available magic, so I didn't worry too much about equipment.
So how mad would you be if I told you missed the Gurmedusa tile?
The Gurmedusas were pretty weak, or pretty strong actually. They didn't. One of the Gurmedusas in the Topher, and I used a Fire 2 on them, and one of them took 176 damage and didn't die. And I was like, okay, so I can't consistently kill them with 2 casts of Fire 2. There's no way.
Yeah, they were pretty beefy. I think at least 200 plus, but it's okay. They were only guarding the iron gold tile.
There's an Iron Gall tile? That would have been more useful.
Yeah, that was both of them in Hall of Giants.
Yeah. Fast that he's casting there?
Yeah, Fast was level 8 in Gaia, and while you were doing your black belt grind, he took some time and did a full party grind to about 32 after wiping twice to packs of Frost Dragons. So coming back in with more HP, he had Fast available, but on his deepest dive just didn't have it at the time. He went back after wiping on Chaos to take care of that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I feel like, someone like an Edgeworth or an Artea might like get this seed in 140 to 150, but assuming that you're human and you make mistakes, I don't think that like over 2 hours is that bad.
Yeah, this was there was a lot of nastiness in this seed, and it wasn't just limited to the enemy encounters you saw in Ice and Earth. Just that Kraken fight was pretty brutal, and Chaos just had so much HP.
Yeah, this is the
The
first
Kraken
time
throwing out nuke,
this is
Cure
the first
4,
time
that was pretty fun.
Yeah, the lead-off zap with only one ribbon as well.
Yeah, this is the first time that Zap didn't take anyone, and I think Life Reboot has seen this Kraken at least 4 or 5 times now.
It was great that he had Cure 4, because I was like, okay, great, I need to keep buffing until he uses Cure 4, because I can't hurt him.
But yeah, so heads up play, Darren was talking earlier about how valuable Ruse was on a knight slot, but it's also pretty valuable on a mage slot too.
When you don't have defense, it's pretty damn useful. You ever find defense?
No, that one we haven't seen.
Absent defense, it's pretty good to have the Ruse spell. The white shirt also pretty useful, but yeah, that was one of those spots, and it sucked because he used Fast as well, so I knew I had to use 3 Ruse charges, and that's 3 Cure 4 charges right there, and I was already low on heal pots.
Well, there goes another Bane, runs into a pack of waters, and down goes both the spellcasters. So
Hate to see that too.
yeah, unfortunately, Life Reboot should have a pretty okay time getting through this fight, but Chaos with no Cure 4 available is gonna be rough.
Chaos himself seemed to be sort of I don't want to say a pushover. He was a teddy bear. He was a sort of leaning on his reputation as a grizzly, but
yeah, it was.
He let me buff up all I needed to.
Yeah, it's just the buffs aren't here, and he has a lot of HP, so it's just a matter of how many times does he decide to punch you instead of casting Lit 2.
I think he had nuke too, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe he did, but Life Reboot at least has twice as many party members as the last time he saw Chaos. Oh, and Chaos had Blaze as well, just to throw a couple more damage things in there.
Forgot about that. Chaos killed my black mage, but I wasn't planning for him to live.
Oh, and there's the nuke. Almost takes the knight down right there.
No charge is a cure 4, I'm assuming?
No, both of his mages are dead, and he doesn't have any magic on that knight. I think he just picked up invis for the knight. And there's another
A lot
wipe.
of credit
light
to
reboot.
him.
Yeah, that's what
Still
I was
diving,
just
though.
about to
That's-
say.
That's not easy to do, right? It can be real frustrating, and it can just sort of take the wind out of you. But this is how you get better. So a lot of credit to lifereboot doing this again.
Yeah, and he is one of the newer runners. He's just gotten through, was just doing the beginner, the Duckling tournament in January, and so this is a really, this has been a tough seed, and it's a really good showing to have gotten through it pretty quickly, and he's made a lot of adjustments in this Temple of Fiends, which, it's not just going and running right back in every time. He went out and did a grind, he went and found fast, and so he's done some things to help mitigate the difficulties that he's found along the way too.
I can see he was significantly ahead of me. He was in the air half an hour before I was. I'm reading your notes.
Yeah.
Or I'm reading Avis's notes. Thanks, Avis, by the way, our tracker. He's doing a great job leaving notes for me to see exactly how behind I was. Yeah, it looks like he got all 4 of his orbs ahead of me. Actually, it doesn't say about the first orb. I might have got mine first, but he got second, third, and fourth way ahead of me. He entered 20 minutes ahead of me, and would have smoked me if it were an easier Topher.
Yeah, I think even just if that Kraken 2 weren't as hard and didn't use Zap and get quite as many people, he would have had a really good chance, because he did get to Chaos once pretty early, and had he had, his 2 mages and the knight, he probably would have been able to make it through.
That was... That, Zap, it doesn't have a huge chance to hit. And my black belt has, what is it, C9 magic def. What is that? Let's see. A is 100, B is... So, 129 magic defense. Yeah, that was really a hit, and it still managed to, so...
3 and 256 of the time. It works all the time.
I got fairly lucky late in the seed. Like clearing the last 2 orb dungeons, there were a few things that I didn't run into. But it's like, oh hey, look, there's another pack of Gersharks. Am I still being restreamed? I should do something about that.
Yeah, I was wondering if those Gersharks were out to get you, because it felt like you ran into them every step for a while.
So, like, that encounter table wasn't very kind to me, but to be fair, those Gersharks, like you keep running into 2 Gersharks at the same time and all that, and my black mage made it through most of that dungeon. And then Brack worked for me. If I went in with 2 mages that could cast Brack, that would be way different. But I went in with 1 mage with 4 Brack charges. And if not, I'm not sure how I would have killed Kraken. So I got lucky when I really needed to.
Yeah, that definitely helped. We all were really enjoying your sprite edits and your fiend edits along the way as well. It's quite something to see what you can do, especially with these NES sprites. Which I was just telling my wife actually at dinner. I was reading through some of the creativity stuff and just the small size of those fighter portraits. Like it's what 16 pixels by 24 for the battle portrait.
That's correct. Yeah, it's small and like I've had these around for a while, but there's very recently been a couple other people coming into that creativity bit of the Final Fantasy Discord, and I've been really happy to see other people working on modding their own sprite sets. And there's some good ones that I saw, and I'm sort of impressed to see that angle being taken because. I mean, as beautiful as the original sprites are, it's sort of cool to be able to play around with them.
Yeah, I find it really interesting to see what everyone can do with that limited palette and that the limits that you have and still make really interesting sprites. And found out just recently about how even the Fiends, like the carry one, they've got random tiles in there that are shared between different encounters and all sorts of stuff that is crazy to think about the limitations of having made the graphics for this game.
Absolutely, you have to try to be like a little bit clever if you're gonna mess with these sprites, which is pretty cool and it's pretty fun. So it took me a while to figure out how to get Hans Gruber in there, but I'm very proud of him because I think he is the ultimate villain across all media, and if I could make him the end boss of every game I play, I would.
I also appreciate you stopping for a little bit too, so that we could read the new text for the vampire.
Yeah, I made a lot of text changes, and I don't know what struck me in a race where I felt like I was behind, but I mean I knew I was about to enter Topher, so I was either going to win or lose. I didn't think 5 seconds would cost me, but yeah, I've changed the text of a lot of these dialogue, and I never get a chance to really showcase that because you have to go fast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Slightly
I think I
noticed
showed you
that
Edgeworth. You're in the game.
Yeah, and then I also love the pile of Vorpals as well.
Yeah. If you talk to the swords in Dwarf Cave that are sitting on the ground, normally it says it's an unusable sample, but in my ROM it says you think about taking the sword off the ground, but then you realize it's just Vorpal and you put it back.
I appreciate that one for sure.
All right, back to the Kraken fight. Here we go again. Throwing a Brack in there just for the chance.
I like the Brack. I mean, if you fought Kraken a few times, I mean, like, if it lands once, that just really helps out.
Yeah, especially with that giant pile of HP and Cure 4 in tow.
Because this Topher definitely taxes your resources. I was in there with those Heal 2 charges, plus the Cure 4 charges, plus 90 heals. I was fairly confident that I was going to make it through without like having to run out of anything. And I had to use all of it.
Yeah, you were completely tapped out by the end. Couldn't even top off the black belt. Just ran out of heal potions.
I used a whole buttload of heal potions right after the Kraken fight, and then ran into some vampires who wanted to remind me that they are more than just a meme.
Yeah, they're pretty rude. Those are some rude dudes.
I paused on that message where he says he's just a meme, and I feel like the vampire's brothers said, "Oh yeah, no, don't worry, we got him. We'll take care of him in Topher."
He thinks you're a meme, huh? Oh, we'll bring him. So on to the Iron Goal fight. And here we go again. Yeah, these guys only had about 200 HP as well.
For me, this tile, the fight was the 6 air elementals that killed my black mage one more time, just to say, yeah, you know, you are unlucky. Just want to remind you, Elastoid, you don't get to be lucky.
As you just yelled. It's the one time you don't want Edge to die, right?
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, I just used all those heal potions because I wanted him to have, like, just be another source of temper. Edgeworth this time didn't spend much time doing a dirt nap. He became like a living idol that inspired our team as we went through.
Yeah, I was
Whenever
enjoying
somebody
his technicolor nature along the way as well.
exactly, whenever someone made an attack, he would change colors for moral support. You know, so it's clear he wasn't dead. He was definitely conscious. He was just taking a breather. He was using his power to inspire everybody.
Yeah, so this is the first time I think I've ever been depicted as statuesque. So
yeah. My black belt being Gregley Puff, I was really tempted to Dan him just because I remembered that Gregley was the one who rolled the seed.
Yeah, and you know, with as good as this seed was, it probably would have been a good call. Looks like Life doesn't know that the dragon armor actually has more resistances than what the opal armor has. I think I actually just learned that earlier today when Edge was calling his last match.
I think he's wearing the ribbon on his fighter, or on his knight rather. So the two are exactly the same.
Oh yeah, okay, so then it doesn't matter. Good call.
yes. So looks like stacking up the invises here. We got the fast out.
Picking up the invis, lock 2 is a good call as well. I really like that.
Yeah, just a lot of buffs going out here, and Chaos I think only had one hit, but hit pretty hard. So
Cure 4 might be a little premature, but it's good to be safe.
Yeah, it was the last charge of it too, and you know, now woof. Okay, yeah, well, that good timing though.
I had a false start, or a false end rather, because after I did 2,500 damage, I was like, okay, that'll do it, and then it didn't, so I had to undone and redone.
Yeah, it just you were just chunking them, and it just didn't work out. But that last chunk for 1,500 is gonna do it. Life reboot finishing with 250. Get out your GGs. A lot of credit to Life Reboot.
Yeah, a lot of credit to Life Reboot. He deserves a lot of GG there. That is to do to pull all that out.
Yeah, and if we have time, he said that he'd be willing to do an interview, so we can send him the stuff here.
looks like we're joined by lifereboot. Can you hear us all right?
Yes, how about me?
Yep, sounds good. GG for sticking it through that that dumpster fire of Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, I think I would have had a pretty decent time if it weren't for the 50 minutes I spent in Topher.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Gee,
That
you
was-
were ahead of me the whole race, man.
Yeah, that you showed a lot of grit though for, as many times as you died in that Topher and went back in and made little adjustments. It was really a good, showing of what you can do to adjust and change your strategy as you go.
I appreciate that. I don't know how many times I ended up diving Topher. I'm not sure numbers go that high, but it was unfortunate. I went into go mode and felt like, okay, I only have the one ribbon, but the amount of RNG spells and whatever else nonsense that ended up in Topher, it seemed like it was almost vanilla difficulty Topher, or maybe even harder.
Yeah, I think the other issue too was a couple of the Fiends rolled real high in the HP department, and so was it Kraken had tier 4 and over 1,000 HP, and then Chaos had just a massive amount of HP.
Yeah, the tier 4 on Kraken was unfortunate. Chaos, I think I fought him 3 times. Finally left for fast. Kind of a rookie mistake to not look for that before entering Topher, but I guess the takeaway is, don't underestimate Topher.
Did you consider picking up, what was it, Cure 4 on the night at all?
I don't remember seeing Cure 4 as, I guess, since my Red Mage had it, then it must have been somewhere. I just forget where it was.
It was in Provoker, right there?
Yeah, yep. Cure 4 was in Provoca, and Cure 3 was in Elfland, which I believe was night learnable as well, but I'm not sure which slot it was in.
It wasn't. I tried to learn Cure 3 with my Red Mage and couldn't, so it was not Red Mage or light learnable. That said, you have Cure 4, you don't need Cure 3.
Yeah, and then the only other thing that you definitely skipped over was the Power Gauntlet, which by go moding Sea Shrine, you were able to just skip right through and didn't have to get the bottle to do that turn in and get Power Gauntlet.
Right, I figured that that's where it was, but I figured it might not be necessary. Little did I know that would have been a big help.
One thing about earlier is you went from Earth Cave, you went straight down to Ordeals. I was just wondering if there was a reason that you skipped checking what the sages had in Crescent, or if that was just, you knew you had the canoe and you wanted to just go down there and check it out.
I've been playing some practice seeds, and I seem to be punished a lot for skipping Ordeals, so I wanted to just get that out of the way. No real strategy. I mean, it's a gamble no matter where you go with these flags, I feel, so.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just, and I'm sure when you listen or watch it back, I was just confused because a lot of times I know like sages are pretty free, but it's if you do get punished for skipping Ordeals a lot, it's really easy to want to go down there right away, so that makes sense. How was your first spring tournament match otherwise, though? I mean, I know that Temple of Fiends was pretty rough, but, at least now you've got one under your belt, and hopefully nerves weren't too big a factor, but what are you looking for moving forward?
No, I feel fine about it. GG Elastoid, curious what party you went with, and did I find the floater before him? Because I feel like the waterfall play was a little odd, so...
The waterfall play, like if you made an early waterfall play, then that was exactly what I was dreading the whole time, because I banged my head against Ice Cave until 40 minutes into the seed. You were ahead of me at every stage, which I know because of Avis's notes. He has you in the air at 106. I was in the air at 90 minutes. And you were in Topher 20 minutes ahead of me. So,
Yeah, what was your party?
oh yeah, I had a black belt that was at level 32. So I one-shot Topher. Kraken 2 almost killed me. Kraken 2 killed everything but my red mage, but I had enough ruse and temper charges to basic and cure 4 charges to last through that fight.
I see. All right. So, did you find the iron gold tile in Earth?
Oh, I ground on the fighter mages in Ordeals.
I see.
Didn't find anything that was in Earth. I go moded Earth. I very nearly tried to full clear Earth, but I remembered that I had missed some key locked, and fortunately, one of them was TNT, which meant that I didn't have to check any chests in either Earth Orb or Air Orb.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, that
Go
was
ahead.
a really impressive run for both of you. I mean, there was a lot of stuff thrown at you, and you had to really fight through quite a bit, but really good job for both of you finishing it. And, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours either way for a seed like that is nothing to be ashamed of. You definitely had to make adjustments as you went and showed that you both, you can go places with this tournament. That was, I think, one of the tougher ones that I've seen so far. So, a good game to both of you.
Yeah, that was an absolute slog. So, yeah, do not feel bad about going over 2 hours. I think this is one that I would have just forfeit. So,
But I had minimized my my chat room, so I didn't know if Elastoid had finished or not. And I think that that's a better way to do it for me, because if I had kept rediving after knowing that he had already finished, I think I probably would have forfeit. And it's good for me to get the experience in that tough of a RNG Topher.
You took a really rough seed, and you got into Topher like at before 2 hours, like 10 minutes before 2 hours. That's pretty good. If you, yeah, like the only problem that you had was adapting to Topher, and you've got a lot of video to watch on that subject, so you can take a look at that, and if you make a couple adjustments, then you're going to be way faster than everybody else.
All right, I'll do that.
I'm glad that I faced you in your first match, because I think if I faced you in like your third match, you'd have smoked me.
You're kind.
Yeah, I think next week's going to be tough. Whether you're 1-0 or 0-1, there's good runners in both categories at this point. There's been a lot of really good matches, and a lot of matches like this where you have very experienced runners against some newer runners who are up and coming. And, like lifereboot, you've been showing your stuff since the Duck Derby, and, it's been really interesting to watch so far, just the way that everyone can approach it, and new people coming out of the woodwork, and a lot of the experienced runners coming back who maybe we haven't seen as much in the last couple months.
Definitely.
all right. So I think that's gonna wrap things up here. Lester, we'll start with you. Any final thoughts before we leave?
Just thank you to you guys for commentating. Thanks to Life Reboot for being real reasonable when it came to scheduling this thing, and thanks to the restreamer like Speed Gaming for hosting us, and to Avis for tracking, because Avis's notes are real useful.
And life reboot.
Once again, GG Elastoid. I had a lot of fun, and I will reiterate the thanks for the crew. I joined this community maybe 6 months ago now, and it's been really, really great. It's a relatively small community, but people are always available to help you out if you have questions, whether it's related to the game or related to the technology surrounding the races. Everyone has been super helpful, and I appreciate that. So thanks very much for having me along. It's been great fun.
All right, and Darren, thank you very much for joining me on comms. It was a lot of fun. We got to do this again sometime.
Yeah, it was a good time, and thanks again to Avos. I know it's your second time tracking and the first time that you've really taken notes on a run, and did a really great job with taking up both of those mantles today, and definitely made our job a whole lot easier, especially with the split that the runners did along the way. It was real nice to be able to look back and go, oh wait, what's he gonna find in Ordeals again when it's been 20 minutes since the last runner was there. So really good job, really great job to both the runners. And this spring tournament it's 37 matches a week, and so far there have been a whole lot of really good matches the whole way through. So keep watching. It's 6 weeks of 37 matches, and there's going to be just a ton of Final Fantasy Randomizer action going on.
All right, so on Speed Gaming 1, we've got some Super Mario Brothers 3 randomizer tournament action going on. So if that interests you, stay on the channel and follow the inevitable host. But yeah, I think that about wraps things up here. Make sure you follow the runners, follow the comments.
It looks like SG1's just finished their broadcast, actually.
Oh, so we're getting hosted now. Well, I'm sure we'll find something on here to send you to. But
SG 3 is doing another Final Fantasy.
All right, well, that's a good place to send you. Yeah, stay tuned, and yeah, remember to follow all of the SG family of channels as well. We've got a lot of action going on here. So that's gonna do it. Have a good evening, everybody. GG to you two again. Thanks again to the crew. Hope you all have a good night.